The stories of Mahabharata, retold by Sudipta Bhawmik. Welcome, dear friends, to another episode of The Stories of Mahabharata. In the last episode, we heard about the 11th day of the battle, when Dron was appointed the commander-in-chief of the Kaurava army. Dron promised to capture Yudhistir and deliver him to Duryodhan. But will he succeed? As the dusk fell upon the vast Kurukshetra grounds, the Pandava and the Kaurava soldiers dragged their tired and injured bodies to the respective tents. A visibly frustrated Dron entered Duryodhan's tent and saw the other generals assembled around him. Dron put down his helmet and said, "I'm sorry, Duryodhan. Today I couldn't keep my promise. It was impossible to shake off Arjun from Yudhishthir's side. And as I said before, with Arjun around, we can never capture Yudhistir alive. If you can arrange to pull away Arjun to some other part of the battlefield, I'll get you Yudhistir." Susharma, the ruler of the Trigartas, and his brothers were among the assembled kings. Susharma stepped forward and said, "King Duryodhan, if you permit, we, the Trigartas, can engage with Arjun and draw him away from his brother Yudhistir. Arjun has always treated us with disrespect, and nobody wants him dead more than us. It will be our pleasure to kill Arjun and help you win this war. I can assure you, tomorrow either Arjun will die or the earth will be void of the Trigartas." Duryodhan accepted the offer with no reservations. The Trigarta brothers, Susharma, Satyarath, Satyavarma, Satyabrata, Satyeshu and Satyakarma, assembled their warriors to prepare for the pledge ceremony. A huge sacrificial fire was lit, and the Brahmins chanted hymns from the Vedas. The Trigartas, dressed in traditional costume, stood in front of the fire with folded palms and took the solemn vow. "We, the Trigartas, solemnly pledge to kill Arjun in this holy war of Kurukshetra. If we fail, may we burn in hell for eternity." Duryodhan and the other Kauravas applauded them. "My dear Trigartas," Duryodhan said, "warriors who take such a deadly pledge are honored by the Kshatriyas as the Sangsaptaks, the death-defying valiants. We all know killing Arjun is a huge challenge, and not many would dare to venture upon a mission like this. But with your courage and will, I am sure you will succeed in achieving your objective." The Trigartas then moved to the edge of the battleground just beyond the Pandava camp and yelled insults at Arjun, daring him to fight them the next day. Yudhishthir looked at Arjun and said, "Pay no attention to their calls. This is Duryodhan's ploy to pull you away from me." Arjun was in a fix. He sat next to Yudhishthir and said, But if someone challenges me to fight, how can I refuse? It's against my principle. I must fight. I beg you, please permit me to teach these arrogant Trigartas a lesson they deserve." Yudhishthir knew he was in a difficult situation. He stood up and said, I understand. But you know, Drona has made it his sole mission to capture me and hand me over to Duryodhan in chains. Now I leave it up to you to do the right thing and ensure my protection. Satyajit, a gallant warrior from Panchal, was standing nearby. Arjun looked at him and said, "Don't worry, brother. While I am away, Satyajit will protect you from Dron. Satyajit is a skilled warrior, and as long as he is alive, I can assure you, Dron won't be able to touch a single strand of hair on your body. In case Dron manages to neutralize him, then don't wait. Ask your charioteer to leave the battlefield immediately." Satyajit was overwhelmed to be given this huge responsibility. He bowed to Yudhistir and said, "O king, have faith in me. I will protect you from Dron till my last breath." Yudhistir had no other option but to agree. The next morning, with the sound of the conch shells, the two sides clashed for the 12th time on the Kurukshetra battlefield. As per their plan, the Trigartas laughed at Arjun and yelled, "Come on, Arjun! Come on! If you have the guts, come and fight us! Today we will show the world that all your gallantry and prowess is nothing but a big hype." Arjun said to Krishna, "Look at these fools. They're about to die, yet they're laughing. Take me to them. I don't want them to wait for their death." Arjun picked up his Devadatta conch and blew it. The loud sound of the conch shook the Trigartas to the core, and for a moment they were unable to move. Soon they recovered and attacked Arjun with full vigor. Arjun retaliated by showering deadly arrows at them, and the Trigarta soldiers dropped like flies. Overwhelmed by Arjun's attack, they began to flee the battlefield. King Susharma yelled at them, "Friends, don't panic! Have you forgotten your pledge? If you flee, you will be the laughing stock of the Kshatriyas. Come back and fight like true Trigarta warriors." Susharma's spirited words were not wasted. The warriors turned back and once again attacked Arjun with full force. Arjun realized these Sangsaptak warriors weren't giving up so easy. He pulled out his magical Tastra weapon built by none other than Lord Vishwakarma. The weapon created a fantastic illusion, and the Trigarta warriors saw each other as Arjun or Krishna. Bewildered by the magic, they began to strike and kill each other, and Arjun took this opportunity to wipe them out with his deadly weapons. But the illusion didn't last long. Soon, the Trigartas recovered, and their arrows engulfed Arjun in a dark cloud. Arjun hurled his Vaishnavastra, and the winds churned up and created a huge tornado that blew away the enemy soldiers like dead leaves. While Arjun was busy fighting the Trigartas, Dron created the Garuda formation and attacked Yudhistir. The formation had Duryodhan at its head, along with Kritavarma, Kripacharya, Salva, Karna, Jayadratha, and many others at its pivotal points. On the Pandava side, Drishtadumna arranged his army in a half-moon formation to counter Dron. Yudhisthira called Drishtadumna and said, "Make sure Dron doesn't capture me. Don't worry. As long as I am alive, Dron won't be able to come anywhere near you." Drishtadumna tried to assure Yudhisthira and then commanded his army to attack Dron. Dron, however, didn't care for Drishtadumna. His sole target was Yudhisthira. With incessant arrows flowing out of his bow, he continued to mow down the Pandava soldiers and clear his path towards Yudhisthira. Satyajit stepped forward to stop Dron from reaching Yudhisthira. He fought gallantly to keep his promise, but Satyajit was no match to Dron's skills. Dron's arrows pierced his armor and killed him instantly. Yudhisthira remembered Arjun's advice. He asked his charioteer, take me away from Dron as soon as you can." He called out to Drishtadumna and the other Pandavas, "Give me cover! Keep Dron engaged while I leave the battlefield!" Drishtadumna, Sikhandi, Satyaki, Chetikan, they all tried their best to stop Dron, but he was simply unstoppable. Who would have thought that this mild-mannered old Brahmin could be so fierce? They gave up and began to flee the battle along with the other Pandava soldiers. Duryodhan noticed the plight of the Pandavas and laughed. Look at them running away from Dron, he said to Karna. It seems our great Guru Dron will keep his promise today and get me Yudhistir. Karna wasn't laughing though. He was watching Bhim fighting with his usual ferocity and advancing towards Dron. Don't be so sure, my friend, said Karna. As long as Bhim is alive, he won't let Dron get his catch. I suggest we should go and stand by Dron to protect him from Bhimsha's wrath. Duryodhan agreed and turned their chariots towards Dron. Bhagadatta rode his huge elephant and advanced towards Bhim, trampling and killing hundreds of Pandava soldiers on the way. The king of Darshan tried to stop him. Bhagadatta's elephant lifted him and thrashed him to the ground in an instant. The Pandava soldiers panicked and ran to save their lives. Hearing the cry of the elephant, Arjun said to Krishna, "That was Bhagadatta's elephant. That humongous beast can tolerate any weapon you throw at him. If we don't destroy that moving mountain, it will kill all our soldiers in no time. I must stop Bhagadatta and get rid of this menace." As Krishna turned his chariot towards Bhagadatta, thousands of Sangsaptak warriors followed him and hurled their choicest insults along with a volley of vicious weapons at Arjun. Arjun knew the Sangsaptaks are trying to keep him away from Yudhistir. He decided to get rid of this nuisance right away and then take care of Bhagadatta. He pulled out his deadly Brahmastra and shot it at the Sangsaptaks. The weapon exploded with a huge bang and in an instant killed almost all the Sangsaptaks. The ones who survived ran away as fast as they could. Arjun then proceeded to attack and stop Bhagadatta and his elephant. Soon Arjun's chariot reached Bhagadatta. Bhagadatta turned his elephant to face Arjun. Krishna took advantage of the elephant's slow move and turned the chariot to the south of the moving beam. "No, Krishna," said Arjun, "I don't want to fight Bhagadatta from behind. Take me to his side." Krishna pulled up the chariot parallel to Bhagadatta. With a swift volley of arrows, Arjun destroyed the elephant's army. He then shot some of the most powerful weapons he had at the elephant, but the beast didn't budge. It screamed and turned to attack Arjun's chariot. Bhagadatta was waiting for this moment. Just when he had Arjun in clear sight, he pulled out his Vaishnavastra, the lethal weapon of Lord Vishnu, and aimed it at Arjun. He engaged the weapon on his bow, uttered the secret mantra to activate it, and shot it at Arjun. Like a lightning bolt, the weapon left Bhagadatta's bow and zoomed towards Arjun. Before the weapon could strike, Krishna stood up to guard Arjun. The weapon struck Krishna's chest and instantly transformed into a majestic necklace on his neck. Arjun was shocked. "Why did you do this?" he asked. "You promised not to participate in the battle and now you are violating your promise for my sake. Why?" Krishna smiled and said, "This weapon, Vaishnavastra, is one of the deadliest weapons and no mortal can survive its strike. If it had hit you, you would have been dead for sure. It was I, in my divine self, who had given this weapon to Narakasur as a gift, which in turn was given to Bhagadatta. Bhagadatta held on to this weapon only to kill you. I can't let that happen. So I had to take back my weapon. Now, Bhagadatta has nothing left to protect himself. Go ahead, kill him and fulfill your duty. Arjun pulled out the powerful Naraj weapon and hurled it at Bhagadatta's elephant. The weapon pierced the elephant's heart, killing the beast instantly. As the elephant crashed to the ground, Bhagadatta jumped off and tried to run away. But before he could move, a half-moon arrow from Arjun struck his chest and killed him. In the meantime, Dron and his son Aswathama were wreaking havoc amongst the Pandava warriors. Drishtadumna, Bhim, Satyaki and the other Pandava stalwarts failed to control their onslaught. And when Karna and Duryodhan joined hands with Dron, things turned from bad to worse. Just then, Arjun and Krishna arrived at the scene of the battle. The incessant flow of arrows from Arjun overwhelmed Dron's warriors, and they got busy trying to save themselves. Each and every shot from Dron's bows were cut down by Arjun. Karna shot his fire-belching weapon at Arjun. Arjun destroyed it in mid-air. He then killed the 3 brothers of Karna who were trying to give him cover. Inspired by Arjun, Bhim and Drishtadumna pounced back upon the Kauravas with renewed vigor. With their swords and maces, they began to destroy hundreds of Kaurava warriors. The Kaurava warriors panicked and began to flee. Soon, the sun went down the western horizon, and the conch shells rang out to signal the end of the 12th day's battle. The warriors sighed in relief as they struggled to drag themselves back to their respective camps to get some rest.
The Stories of Mahabharata is written, directed and told by Sudipta Bhawmik. Audio engineering, original music and sound design by Avi Ziv. Find us online at facebook.com/Mahabharata podcast. Join the group for updates and news. Subscribe to the podcast using iTunes or any other podcast catcher. On Twitter, we are at Mahabharat Audio.